Hey everybody, it's Marty, the JavaScript party, and my buddy Rhett here. It is 8:05 a.m. on Wednesday, March 5th. So we are a good way into March. It was really windy and rainy last night. It's like 43 degrees outside. I think it got to like 43 degrees Fahrenheit. I believe it got to, my wife was telling me like 37, 36. So a couple days I would go, I was talking about how I was walking around and there was like little flying creatures all over the place. And then yesterday when I was walking around, there weren't any. So it didn't get to freezing, so it didn't get to 0 Celsius or 32 degrees Fahrenheit, but it got pretty cold. And I guess it got cold enough to wipe them out. Um, so we get another reprieve from the dreaded insects that are coming. So yesterday we basically migrated from having four four variables, to having having an array with four items in it. And then basically in the template we still have hard coded. So give me array zero, give me index zero, give me one. But what would be better is if we could have a for loop. So let's just get started on that. So app for woohoo. So let's just do that. And I'm trying to do this out of memory. It's kind of a weird, awkward situation because at work we're still on Angular 9, I want to say, and maybe 10. And so this is not how I do a for loop at work. At work, I do like an ng4, but on my personal stuff, I'm way ahead. But I don't know. I, I I even like on jobs that are recruiting, I haven't seen anybody that was any newer than like Angular 15. Um, so like, I don't know if anybody's doing these new things. I know they have like migration tools um, that will migrate you from the ng4 to the new for loop, but I don't know how that works. Like I don't know. Like well, I don't. It'll be very interesting to see. Well, I guess it won't because we'll probably never see it. But it would be interesting to know if, as time moves on, how effective those tools will be. Um, but and I do know that I watched the Angular videos that the Angular team puts out, and that they say that they have to upgrade like 2,500 applications every single upgrade. So it is on them to figure out how to upgrade applications within the Google team within Google. Um, so, but like I would assume that none of their applications use the old ng4 anymore, and so they won't really have a vested interest in keeping that going. But I believe what you do is you say let, and then let's say renderer. You give it a name, render ID from st render IDs. Yeah, so that wasn't right. So I don't know. I don't think we do any for loops in this project, so I can't find one. So Angular 19 for loop. Now I would ask ChatGPT, but ChatGPT has been giving me weird ass hybrid not working results for this, and I think it's because okay, so of and I do think we will need to of not if of at for item of then yeah, I think that track. My goodness, I cannot type this morning. Track render ID. Okay, that's weird that that worked. Now I didn't think this track was required, but it looks like it is. Or at least my ID believe it is. And then I'm just gonna say these are all apps. Up there is absolutely positioned, so I don't think we'll be able to see that, but we'll just say render. Let's go back over here. Let's see if inspect. Well, let's just go ahead and get rid of this just for the moment. Not, it is going to be gone forever, but not at this moment. Okay, so that didn't seem to work. Let's undo that. So what I usually do at this point, let's just do this. Let's put this in a div. Actually, I don't know for sure if this is going to work, but I'm pretty sure it's going to work. Style. Position. Absolute. I don't know if this, now I'm top is equal to 200 px. Now I'm hoping that just slide, that the whole thing just gets slid down. Yep, okay. So now up here, I'm just going to just double check that I can actually see what's written in here. Okay, so you can't see the hello. Oh, and it's probably because the text is white, is black. I mean, let's see. And, you know, like there's a lot of bad coding things, but like a lot of times these bad coding behaviors is like fine for like debugging and for, you know, initial builds and stuff like that. Okay. Let's move this up here. Okay. So those are our IDs. So the only reason, so the for loop was working. The only reason we couldn't see it is because it was trying to write black text on the black background. You know, it's kind of like one of those things where like what could be broken could be a million different things. And I've just been through this a million different times. So now it stands out to me. Yesterday at work, I was introduced to a technology that I've seen lightly a few times, and I would still say I've only seen it lightly. It's called SSIS, and it's like this really cool technology for moving data around and stuff. And you know, my boss was going over. He was kind of demonstrating how it works, trying to debug an issue that we were having. And at the end, he was just like, "Okay, well, blah blah blah." And I said, "Well, could we do this? And would that work?" And he's like, "Oh my gosh, that's a good idea." And sure enough, we were able to fix the bug. So what we thought we were going to have to do is wait for permission from somebody else. But then we found out a way to fix it and all that. And it was just because I have a lot of experience. I didn't know the technology at all, but I have just the general experience of debugging and fixing things. And I don't think companies necessarily weigh those two things. Like there's, hey, this person knows technology. And what's really bizarre is that most companies, they want to hire like juniors based on just general knowledge that they're able to solve things and stuff like that, but they don't really need to know the specific technology, which it's very unlikely with their lack of experience that they would have that. A lot of like just basic foundational skills around debugging and stuff like that, you know, they may have exposure, but you know, they probably have not spent 5 years debugging stuff on a daily basis. And then the seniors, they want them to have very specific technologies. Oh, you've actually worked in this actual technology. And it's kind of like, seems like it should be the opposite. It seems like you should want your seniors to really have a lot of foundational understanding of how coding works, how architecture works, how things should be done. And then you'd want your juniors to be like, oh no, I love this technology, and this is the technology that I love, and I was part of the blah 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 team, like, and that's kind of like how it was when I first came up. Like, I would never meet a senior developer that knew HTML, but I knew HTML inside and out because I enjoyed putting up web pages and stuff like that, and like they didn't know the difference between like a JPEG and a BMP or whatever, like different formats, stuff like that. So never even heard of CSS, like a lot of the senior developers. So they could bring their experience and you would bring the new technology. Now it's like, no, we want you to bring the new technology, and we're not too particularly worried about your experience to the seniors, which is bizarre. And then we want the juniors to have general knowledge and understanding of coding, and it's just bizarre. We are in a weird place. All right, so now we know our renderer ID, and we know that all the app viz wants is a renderer ID. So let's just do this. And it shouldn't be render ID. It should be renderer ID. It's the ID of the renderer, not the render that we want to do. Oh, yeah, that's right. So we have the issue with then this, since those IDs are being used down here, this one. So what I'm going to do now, well, yeah. That's pretty crazy because it's like 4 of them just on top of each other. It's really neat that the application can do that. But you notice we don't need need to do anything with the length anymore, because it's not going to build this until it actually exists, because it's looping over it and it starts off as an empty array. So basically we want to calculate the style. That's what we want to do, and I don't know how to do that. Like, I know there's like an ng style. So now this, I will go to ChatGPT. Let me see if this works. I don't know if that muted. I pushed this little button on my thing, and actually I don't think it muted, because I think I was supposed to, I was supposed to do this button here, not this button there. So I have no idea what I just did. But that shows like a little microphone too, so that might have worked. I don't know. And then alternatively, I probably should have, I think on this thing here, I can also, on my OBS, I think I can also mute. But anyways, I apologize if that sneeze went through. But in Angular 19, I would like to set the left attribute of a style dynamically during I have to really think, because I use ChatGPT at work a lot, but we are not allowed to put anything that would sort of even conceivably be internal information that we want to share. I mean, it's not a very secretive environment. It's a state environment. When I worked for the federal government, you couldn't even access ChatGPT. But so now I have to really, really think, okay, am I, like, I don't want to copy and paste code in there or anything like that. So I guess that's just good, what they would call good AI hygiene. I don't know why, but I get very triggered by the word hygiene. It's weird. Okay, style. There we go. I just don't really understand. I definitely know that this is required. I've never really understood this. But we're going to copy that. And then we're going to put this in here. And then we don't have... okay, okay, so I like this way he did it better anyways. Let's see if that works. This let I equals dollar index. Okay, that did not work. But he did put the, or ChatGPT did put the let render. Just save it and see if it breaks. Okay, what does it say? Yeah, I don't know why. It doesn't like that. Yeah, I don't know. So I think I can say st render IDs. I don't. This is weird. I would love this a lot better. Because oh wait, so they don't have the word track. They have this. And so it's interesting that it doesn't complain about this, but it does complain about this. Cannot parse for loop, must match pattern identifier of expression. This is the identifier. Is it just upset about the name? Like, is there like some kind of name conflict? I don't think so. I don't know. But now I don't have an index because of the way. And I think render IDs is still going to be all of the render IDs. But I know there's a way to get the index. Yeah, I didn't think so. Okay, so this, it won't let me do this. So I'm just going to double check one last time. Because I know there is a way to get the index. Okay, let's go back and see what other of items, track item dot name, but I just want to do let idx equals dollar index. Okay, so, oh, we have an extra. Oh pain in the butt. Track render ID. Times. Did I literally make that a capital I? I times 50. And I think it actually needs to be I times 200. There we go. We are back, baby. Okay, so basically I think I need to change. Well, I don't know. Like, I think I need to commit this. Because there's certain things I want to be able to do next, and I don't know if so like I I don't know how far. I don't think I want to go any farther down the animation path. Okay, so the next thing. Okay, what's the next thing I'd want to do? I would want to get rows, multiple rows. And if I want to get multiple rows, then I want to, well, probably actually the next thing I want to do is sort of formalize this stuff. I think this is the next obvious thing, is this. I need to get animations a little bit more formalized. And that, I really do want that to be in a different commit. Because I think once I formalize this, and that this sort of stuff is more just like a call to like loop over each render ID and add a basic animation, instead of doing like, if it's index 0, do this. And, like that to me seems like the next natural step. And then building out some sort of system for knowing where to lay these things out is probably the next step after that. And if that is the case, then that probably also needs to, probably needs like an architecture that knows how to do that. I guess just for fun, maybe we could do, just so we have something a little different. I think that makes sense. And then I guess we see how tight we can make these before. I think 200 is the smallest we can make it before they start to interact with each other. Oh, that's nice. Let's try 100. Okay, so 100 is too close. The upper corner of the box interacts with the actual animation in the previous one. So that's nice. But I feel like maybe what we want is this to be 100 and this to be 120. Anyway, so that's that. Yeah, so the next video tomorrow, I'm going to commit the code I have, and then let's see, I guess maybe let's do this. 120, get rid of this, and maybe add a couple more. And so, oh, interesting how that one is getting interfered with. It's the only one, though. I think it's because it reaches out a little farther. So let's go back to the template and make it 130. that's nice. But then that we definitely are going to need to be able to control the width and height of the overall box, um, and stuff like that. And like right now the concept is there's only one mesh in a box, but we'll obviously have multiple meshes in boxes. Maybe we just see like one wide long one with like right now. Let's do this. I guess we'll do it in here. Hello. Let's see. Gold. I have gold. So that's the way that is right now, which is pretty interesting. It's because they're all sitting on each other. I think that's pretty useful information. But anyways, yeah, so we won't leave that. Yeah, so the next step will be to commit this stuff, get the unit tests update. I don't think there's anything to do in unit tests, but just double check, make sure there's nothing missing. Run the unit test without any visualizations in it, just to make sure that everything is being covered, that we don't get like a fake 100%. And then run the end-to-end test with, again, those things should be available. And then, yeah, and then I think we need to make the app, this code, more formalized. So that will be good. And then, again, that will require more unit test work. And then, it probably makes sense to sort of do the placement code the way, whatever the art, like we have no architecture for that right now, but do sort of the placement code, which I think would be like the Mason, like the masonry effect sort of code. Build that out, probably in context with having a menu that lets you add these things, and that seems to be what we need to do for like the next couple of videos. Anyways, it is now 8:34. I got 26 minutes before I start work today, and should be a very interesting but uneventful day at work, so that'll be cool. And I got a lot of paralegal studying to do. Got like, I like to make flashcards, so these are all the flashcards I've made so far for like my paralegal memorization, so that I could take the first test in 3 weeks. So we're supposed to have a midterm in 3 weeks, and so I'll want to be ready for that, and that'll be cool. Let's see, this one is, what is a secured creditor? And a secured creditor is a creditor that has, let's see, did I write the answer down? One who has a legal interest or security interest with collateral. So that is a secured creditor. Now, oddly enough, so I think in Florida the way it worked was like, if you, like, let's say you bought a car and you owed, you went to the dealership and you owed like $30,000 on the car, and then you paid for a month, and then it got repossessed, and then they sell the car for like $20,000. That was it. You're done. It would show up on your credit. It would be a bad credit, but it wouldn't do that. But in Georgia, I believe that's how it was. But in Georgia, if they sell your car and they don't get enough to cover the cost, you're still on the hook for the cost of that until unless you file bankruptcy. That would be the only way. So I was very surprised by that. That really jumped out at me. It seemed like, hey, if you have a secured debt, and then you go and get that. Now I think in Florida, if you had damaged the car or something, if there was something like if they could show that you had done something wrong, then that was on you. You needed to pay for the damage or whatever, or they come after you for the damage. But I don't know about that. I definitely was never a paralegal. I might have just been wrong the whole time. But anyways, yeah, happy coding, everybody. Bye.